Hey YouTube, Awesome Writer here. Welcome to the last of my what I want to see out of videos for all the franchises that I cover mainly on this channel. I've done Rider, Sentai, now it's time for Power Rangers of what I want to see in 2025 and beyond. I think I kept saying 2024 in the other videos. I'm like a year behind, but weebly wobbly, timey-wimey. So this is an interesting one because usually around December, around Christmas time, in the back of my mind, when I have moments to think, I start thinking about like what I want to do for these videos. Like what kind of points do I want to bring up, kind of like mental notes of things I'd like to see. And I was thinking about Power Rangers just a few weeks ago, and I was like, this is going to be interesting because this is the first time I've done one of these where there's nothing on the horizon. Like last year, obviously, we winded down the original continuity with Cosmic Fury, and then we had the reboot on the horizon, or so we thought. So it wasn't like we were getting nothing, or so we thought, but prior to 2 weeks ago, I thought there was going to be nothing this year outside of the comics and third-party merchandising and the Play School. Is it Play School? Play School, yeah, Play School toys. And I was like, what am I going to say? Like, what do I want? Obviously, that's what I was thinking. And initially, I was thinking, you know what? I think they just need to take a break. I know we're on a break now, and everyone's freaking out like it's never happened in another franchise before. But like a longer break. Like there was the rumor that Netflix sat down, or Hasbro sat down with Netflix and were like, we want to do like an MMPR reboot show that basically was kind of in the style of what we were getting, but like an MMPR reimagining, and they passed on it. And they were going to shop around, and I was curious what that would have looked like, but I can't say I would want to see it, and I think if it would have happened, it would have just, I don't think you can damage PR's name much more at this point, but I don't think it would have helped. So I was thinking, rather than me wanting to see that go to Hulu or Amazon or whatever, I was like, they just need to take an extended break. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, take like 3, maybe 4 years, I don't know, and then come back and try the reboot, get some time to pass, and then try something, and really, like, hopefully, like, somebody at Hasbro would see the potential like the Goldberg guy did, or maybe they get bought out. I don't know what it would be, but have somebody that has a belief in it and wants to make something happen. That's what I was thinking initially I was going to say. And then Christmas Day, we got news that supposedly they're talking with Paramount about just that apparently somebody or multiple people at Paramount see the potential in doing a new movie, and then maybe an animated series, whether it would be tied to the movie or not, like TMNT, we don't know, but it seems like there's somebody that sees potential. And as I said in those videos, I'm very much on the fence with this in the sense that I'm fully prepared for it to fall apart after what we went through with the reboot updates and the up and down and then it being canceled. So like, I'm just already half preparing at least for it to not happen. But I'm also like happy that there is stuff happening and find it crazy that PR just can't seem to stay dead for long before something comes of it. But I'm definitely excited that there's going to be at least stuff to talk about. Not really excited about the discourse. I'll talk a little bit about some stuff I'd maybe like to see from the movie, but I might do that in a separate video, maybe later down the line in the next month or so, when we maybe get more info or something, or I just need a video to make, but I'm more so just going to touch on like broader strokes here with that. So as far as this, honestly, I think the main thing I want to see is as we get updates, I just want us to, as quick as possible, get more concrete updates. I don't want them to rush the movie. Like, I really want them to take their time. Like, some of the rumors were talking about how they said they recognized, like, some of the missteps of 2017's release date and stuff, and they seem to be mindful of, like, this has potential, but also, like, it could go wrong. So I want them to take their time, however much they need to try to make this work. But I would like to see some updates as soon as possible that let us know that this is real. Like, obviously it's real, but you know what I mean. Like, after a certain point, I think in particular after COVID, most of the updates for the reboot were like, oh, we switched EPs, and then like it's still happening. So I want to see something that can give us more like ground to stand on, both because I think it'll be a good sign of like this is actually going to happen, but then we can end like most of the conversation, or at least a good amount of the conversation, being dominated by people being like, I'll believe it when I see it. I hope that as soon as we can get updates that show that the ball is actually rolling, like hearing about casting or script or whatever, just something that solidifies it as like there is a very strong chance this will happen. So like we can start actually having more fun speculating and believe that it's going to happen. So I hope that happens. We need a balance between them giving concrete updates and the fans not demanding updates like they're owed something. But I hope that happens. I hope we get some more concrete updates that it's actually happening. I hope that we can find a balance with whatever this is. I think that whatever it ends up being needs to be a balance between some of the things that the current fans like about it, but also open up to a little bit of a broader audience and find like a perfect balance. It's hard to find, perfectly balanced like all things should be. That's hard to do, but I think they need to do that. I hope the fans can keep an open mind. I'm not going to hold my breath, but a lot of the fans seem to have a tight chokehold on what it's supposed to be. But I think there needs to be a balance between like, yeah, you want it to keep some of its charm, but understand that some of its charm isn't that charming for people. So you gotta, do a little bit of a mix. And I don't know whether it's going to be MMPR based or not. There's, of course, an ongoing argument on whether that's actually a good idea. I think that there's going to be something familiar to it, to MMPR. I don't want them to do like legacy cameos or something. Like, we don't need that. I think it's too late to do like a Cobra Kai style type of revival. I think that you don't have enough of the heavy hitters for that, and I don't think that would be something to bank on for a big theatrical release. But I think that there'll be something. Like, even if it's just them using the color scheme. Like, I think that there's a good chance they'll use the MMPR color scheme, even if they don't base it off of the MMPR designs at all. And I don't think it would be a bad idea to include some sort of familiarity there. Like, I'm not opposed to that. Like, if they just make them really generic Ranger suits that don't have a specific theme, but they use the original color scheme, that's fine. I feel like people are going to flip out over that. But I think that they should maybe try to do something familiar. Like, find a balance between this is new, we're moving forward a little bit, but if you have something familiar to it to sort of catch that nostalgia and get people that are familiar with MMPR on board, that wouldn't be bad. Like, however they approach it, I just want it to be good, honestly. I could also see them using what I always call the Zeo color scheme in my head, where it's just the same color scheme, but you have green instead of black, because there was that rumor that, like, some of the last times they were developing the last reboot, they were going to, like, focus on the Green Ranger a little bit because of Tommy and try to honor him and kind of capitalize on everything in a way. And there was, like, originally a rumor that Green was going to be the leader, but then they were like, no, it's going to be the main character, but, like, Red will still be the leader. But I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't have minded that. Like, if they did something like that for the reboot, I don't think they will, but where they made, like Green or Blue the leader instead and just changed the status quo, I wouldn't mind that at all. I would actually love that. Like, I actually liked that idea a lot. I'm like, that would be kind of cool. Like, people would complain about the Tommy fan service of it all, but if you make Green the lead or Blue or something, that would be neat. Like, just, or white. I don't know. White's kind of been done before, but you know what I mean? Like, to give it, like, a new status symbol, like, this is the new Power Rangers. And I couldn't believe how closed-minded people were about that. I'm like, it's a color swap, bro. Like, who cares? Like, there couldn't be a more superficial detail to get, like, twisted up about. But I wouldn't mind seeing something like that. But I wouldn't be surprised if they used, like, the color scheme or something. I think it would be kind of cool if they did a team of 3 to start. I remember one of the rumors, too, was they were going to start with a team of 3 and then introduce the other 2 later or in the sequel. I think that could be kind of cool. Like, that's kind of maybe what I would want to see. I think that it would maybe be wise to stick to, like, a familiar 5 and use either the original or the Zeo color scheme. But I would love for them to do something that was different, that made it stand out. Like, obviously, team of 3 is something new to us, but that would be new for the movies for a lot of people, or change the color of the leader. I don't know. I think that could be kind of cool. I want to see something different. Like, I'm hoping they find a balance between effectively just making it something that will be appealing to more mass audiences, like superhero movie type stuff, but also keeping some of PR Toku's charm. But find a balance. Don't go full tilt Toku. Don't go full tilt regular superheroes. Everyone's like, oh, don't go full Western audience. I'm like, dude, you live in Utah. Settle down. I also would love to see it kind of have its own stamp. Like, something about it that's unique, that sets its own identity and brings its own thing to, like, Ranger history. I think that'd be kind of cool. But right now, it's, like, too early to speculate. We don't know anything. I probably will do a full-blown video talking about things I'd maybe like to see, like both stuff that I think, like, this might work, and things that I don't know if this would work or not, but it'd be cool to see. And I do hope that animated series thing gets off the ground. I don't know whether I'd want it to be tied in or not, like, because they could go the Transformers approach, where they have, like, series or maybe multiple series or whatever going on that just aren't connected to the movie continuity, or they could do the TMNT approach, where it's very much in the continuity and have it happen between movies. Honestly, wouldn't be mad at that if you can get a cool art style. Like, I don't remember who it is on Twitter, but he does these sick animations of, like, what if Power Rangers was animated, or Beetleborgs. Like, that would be awesome if you can get the right animation, because that would be a cool way to, like, keep interest in between movies. And then maybe, like, once the movies are done, like, the actors, like, are up their contract after 3 movies, they could continue the story via an animated series if they want. Like, I've been wanting to see PR animated for a while, so I think that would be cool. Everyone's always like, you should adapt the comics. Like, I would love to see like a DC animated style movie of the comics, but it's like, do we have no other ideas besides adapting stuff? We could just do our own story. Like, when you go animated, there's, like, no reason to adapt anything. Just, you know where the adaptations came from? They were written from scratch the first time. That's where source material comes from. Why don't we do new source material? Like, again, I'm not opposed to seeing the animated movies, but, like, don't base the series off anything. Just go from scratch. But yeah, we'll have to see. But I am excited that there's at least something on the horizon. You know, keeping my expectations tempered. But I guess in terms of the overall main series, the thing I want to see most is just, let's have some concrete enough updates so we can feel secure that it has a good chance of happening. As far as other stuff, you know, I've been enjoying the comics continuing with Prime. I hope we get more standalone graphic novels. I would love to see us bringing back stuff like the Time Force ones we did, and like the Soul of the Dragon, like some focus on other series and stuff, just because I think that'd be cool. I still really want them to do an SPD. It's 2025, literally the year of SPD. This would be the golden time to do that graphic novel based on that image we saw that showed, like, the Decker Ranger, and I think that's what they called it, and the new form for Jack, and Bridge wearing the Fire Squad, and you got Lena Song in there or whatever. I want to see that. That would be awesome. I also am not opposed at all. I'd love for them to continue their little crossovers they've been doing. They definitely set up a third TMNT crossover, so I hope that happens because those have been fantastic. I feel like they wouldn't do season 3 stuff because they had like a direct like tee up for a sequel in that, but they would be wasting so much of an opportunity if at some point they didn't do a crossover that took place in season 3 times. Like, it's right there. But I'm not opposed to them trying out crossovers with other properties. If they did another Godzilla one, that would be cool. The last one was pretty fun. They actually brought in mythology and stuff from other seasons beyond MMPR. I would actually love to see them try a Transformers Power Rangers crossover comic, because like there's people speculating of like, if this reboot gets off the ground, will they try a crossover movie? But I'm like, before you even do that, to test the waters, I'm surprised they haven't even thought about it yet. Like, I think that would do great. The Team NTO one obviously did good enough to get a sequel and probably a threequel. Let's do that. That'd be something I'd like to see, either, if not this year, you know, set the ball rolling on that. As far as toys, I'm going to be honest, I'm not that excited for the MMPR Playmates line. Playmates, is that right? It keeps sounding wrong because it sounds like, you know, Playmates, like Playboy. But anyway, I'm not that excited for it. I'm curious about it. They do make pretty good toys. Like, their Turtle toys and their Ben 10 toys are actually great, but I'm just not that excited. More curious than excited. I do hope at some point we can get some sort of regular Lightning Collection-esque line back. I don't know if Hasbro would ever put that back into production if, like, the movie takes off, or if they end up selling it to Paramount. Like, where would the toy rights go? Would they make a partnership with somebody else? Would Playmates do it? But I'm just hoping at some point in the next few years we can get, whether it's the Lightning Collection or an equivalent, back for both figures and like morphers and stuff. That would be really cool to be able to have that. And I also think whenever this movie comes out, if it's marketed with like the toys in mind and it is targeting, I think it's still targeting younger audience. I don't think they should do like Hasbro where they're targeting like 6 months olds, or Hasbro, Saban, targeting very young. But I think if you do a toy line, you know, make it have a good presence. I think the Turtles movie had a pretty good presence, like we had the end cap. I hope the toys have a good presence and quality. But yeah, it's more exciting going into next year than I thought. I thought we were going to be in for a few years of a more quiet period, which I would have been fine with, but I'm kind of happy that seemingly someone sees potential in it. I hope something comes of it, but I'm prepared if it doesn't. But let me know what you want to see from PR in 2025 and beyond. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell to get notifications for my videos. The Awesome Writer, signing out.